All right, she is officially done and has been washed. It's been a 5-year project, but it's done. This is my very first quilt. I'd made one blanket, 2 blankets prior to this. One was a no-sew tie fleece, and one was a sewn little lap blanket for my niece, and it was so wonky. Bless her heart. She still has it, but this is my very first ever pieced together quilt. Each of the hexagons was hand sewn together using the English paper piecing method. Some things that I did learn while using this or working on this project. One, placement is important. This flower was actually supposed to be in the middle and have the 2 green ones on either side. Didn't catch that until the end. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I may have caught it and then just didn't like the fact that it was yellow with the yellow strip and decided to change it. But originally, I did plan to put it in the middle. So I may have changed it on purpose. It's been 5 years, so I don't really remember right off. But placement, I know, is a big one that I learned. Second is seam allowances. I still struggle to remember to add in a 1/4 inch seam allowance on pieces when I'm adding fabric. You can see there was a couple places where the seam allowance kind of pulled apart, or the seam pulled apart, and I had to stitch it back together because I didn't give a deep enough seam allowance. Also, part of that problem is when I trimmed, because the biggest thing that I learned was to make sure your back is double the size or bigger than the size of your top. I did not do that. I tried to cut it even, and when doing so, I did not realize that it was kind of skewed, and so I actually had left a strip about as wide as this, in a triangle that came up and kind of went down, where the backing was just completely missing. And I didn't catch it until after I had already sandwiched it together. I had already sewn everything together, and then I saw it. So that was a learning point, which is why when I bound this, the binding did not come around to the front, go on the back and then come around to the front like I wanted. I had to attach it to the front like this and then kind of pull it all the way to the back to where it's pretty much not even showing on the front, just to be able to make sure it's covering that spot. It did wash pretty well. I washed it in a very large load by itself, cold water, on a delicate cycle, and I dried it twice on delicate with very low heat. This is 100% cotton, so it shrunk a little bit, but it did not shrink a whole lot. Some of my sew lines are not the straightest. I did struggle with getting it through my machine, with rolling it up and working and keeping my lines straight. But for a very first time quilt, it's not too terrible. I think that's something that'll improve as I go. And you can see where some of my intersections, I missed the mark quite a bit, but some of them are perfect. But anyways, this was a 5-year project complete. Thank you so much for y'all's time, and y'all have a great night. God bless.